Good evening, Namaskar, Adab, Vanakkam. To begin with, let me state at the outset a word of caution and a few housekeeping rules. First, this being an e-inauguration, there will be buffering, there will be turbulence, we may lose you for a while, but rest assured, we will find you, we will reconnect, and if necessary, reboot. Second, apart from the speakers, all others are requested to keep their microphones on mute mode. Lastly, except for the team which is coordinating the webinar, all others are requested to ensure that their cell phones are either switched off or are in an airplane mode. This will help us maintain stability while the webinar is on. That being said, Honorable Mr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Chairperson, E-Committee, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice D.N. Patel, Chief Justice, Delhi High Court, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Krishan Kaul, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Ravindra Bhatt, Judge, Supreme Court of India. I must add that the latter three judges are judges whose parent court is the Delhi High Court, and they have happily accepted our invitation as they have an umbilical connect to the Delhi High Court. Going on further, my predecessors in the Delhi High Court IT Committee, Honorable Mr. Justice Madan Lokur, Honorable Mr. Justice B.D. Ahmed, and Honorable Mr. Justice Muralidhar, who have contributed immensely in upscaling the e-enablement in the Delhi High Court. Besides this, I must also refer to Honorable Mr. Justice R.C. Challan, Vice Chairman E-Committee, Chairpersons and members of the IT committees in various high courts, my colleagues at the Delhi High Court, Mr. S.N. Shrivastava, Commissioner of Police, Delhi, Dr. Neeta Verma, Director General, NIC, Mr. Manoj Jain, Registrar General, Delhi High Court, Judges of the District Judiciary, Mr. Ravindra Dudeja, Director, Delhi Judicial Academy, Mr. Kanwaljit Arora, DLSLA, Mr. Varun Mitra, Secretary Justice, Government of India, Mr. Anup Mehendirata, Secretary Law, Government of India, Mr. Anshu Prakash, Secretary Telecom, Government of India, Mr. Vijay Kumar Dev, Chief Secretary, Government of Delhi, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Principal Secretary, Law, Government of Delhi, CPCs of various high courts, Mr. Maninder Acharya, ASG, Mr. Rahul Mehra, Senior Standing Counsel, Government of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mahathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Abhijat, Secretary, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, members of the executive, office bearers of the district bar associations, senior advocates, and junior members of the bar, members of the print and electronic media, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the inauguration of version 2.0 of the virtual court project. Some of you would recollect that in July of 2019, we had established the first virtual court in Delhi to deal with tickets issued for traffic violations, which were caught on the spot. We have, since then, taken a small but significant next step, which is to resolve summons and tickets generated against violations caught on camera. Typically, if the violator chooses not to contest the case and decides instead to plead guilty, she or he can pay the fine online via prescribed payment gateway without having to take the trouble of making a physical appearance in court. This exercise saves time, it saves cost, and more importantly, allows for deployment of resources, both from the point of view of the individual and the institution, for purposes that can't do without physical presence of manpower. We could not have moved to the second stage of the project with such alacrity without the roadmap laid out by Justice Chandrachud and an all-hands-on-deck approach of the NIC, the IT team in the District Court and in the High Court, as also the Delhi Police. We faced impediments. These were, however, removed very quickly with intercession of Justice Chandrachud. Encouragement for innovation came in abundance from Chief Justice Patel. My IT team, both in the District Court and in the High Court, as also my colleagues in the High Court, are today honored to have you all find the time to converge on this webinar at a juncture when people, and in particular litigants, are facing perhaps the worst crisis of their lives. Your support is important as it sends out a signal that the judiciary has its eye on the ball and that every algorithm and strategy will be employed to stay ahead of the curve, or should I say, the virus. Before I conclude, let me express my deep gratitude to the IT team which has made this event possible. Thank you. God bless. May I now call upon Justice Chandrachud to inaugurate the virtual court version 2.0. Justice Chandrachud, please.
For inaugurating the Virtual Court 2.0. It's indeed our pleasure to have you at the Delhi High Court. We now have a short film to give you a flavor of how Virtual Courts 2.0 for on-spot traffic challans would be functioning. And I'll now request the coordinator at the Virtual Courtroom in the Delhi High Court to play the film for us.
Congratulations on becoming a part of this historic movement. It was only about 10 months back, that is on 26th July 2019, that the first virtual court was inaugurated in Delhi to deal with on-the-spot challans issued by Delhi Traffic Police. The virtual court has disposed of 7,30,789 challans since then. A total of 89 crore 41 lakh 67,812 has been deposited against them. Today, we are taking another step forward in this direction. The Delhi Traffic Police has gone digital and has installed 389 cameras at 88 locations. These cameras capture the violators. The data generated by the cameras is sorted and saved on the server of Delhi Traffic Police. From the server of Delhi Traffic Police, the data is sent to the NIC server, and from there it is consumed by the virtual court. The virtual court looks at the challan. It can also see the photograph taken on the spot. Thereafter, court imposes fine. This information is transmitted to the violator on his mobile phone via SMS. Through this SMS, a web link is shared with the violator. Violator can see the details of his challan by clicking on the web link. If the violator pleads guilty, then a payment gateway is opened. On that payment gateway, the violator can deposit the fine amount mentioned in the SMS. The challan stands disposed of. All this has been made possible due to the concerted efforts and guidance of Honorable E Committee, Supreme Court of India, and Honorable IT Committee, High Court of Delhi. NIC Delhi, NIC Pune, and Delhi Traffic Police has also toiled day and night to make this project a success. We are thankful, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bansal, for providing the voiceover. Mr. Bansal is the chairman of the Centralized Computer Committee at the District Courts in Delhi. And he's also got a Hindi version of this. I'm sure we'll be able to upload both these versions on our website on the Delhi High Court. These virtual courts, both the first version and the second version, show how technology can be used easily to make sure that citizens don't need to visit the courts to pay their traffic challans. The virtual courts for traffic challans is a cooperative effort with the Delhi Police. And today we have none other than the Commissioner of the Delhi Police, Shri S.N. Srivastava. May I request Mr. Srivastava to say a few words?
Thank you. Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice, Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice D.N. Patel, Chief Justice, High Court of Delhi, Honorable Mr. Justice Rajiv Sakdar, Chairman IT Committee, High Court of Delhi, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Sachdeva, Judge, High Court of Delhi, Honorable Justices in Supreme Court and High Court of Delhi, and ladies and gentlemen present in the webinar. I am delighted at the invitation for the e-inauguration of the second phase of virtual court project and grateful for being given an opportunity to speak at this webinar before this August gathering. After the inauguration of the first phase of the virtual court on July 26th last year, the second phase of virtual court has just been inaugurated by Honorable Justice Chandrachud, who is also the chairman of E-Committee, overseeing the establishment of virtual court and other technological intervention. Integration of prosecution and the court in online system through virtual court will not only increase the efficiency in handling the large volumes of Challan, but would also facilitate violators who wish to compound the offences online. It will increase the transparency and will help police in focusing on traffic discipline and regulation. 10 hours engaged in appearance before the honorable courts would now be available in increasing the police capacity to attend to traffic regulation. Today, even during the lockdown period, Delhi traffic police cameras are capturing around 25 to 30,000 violations per day. This is likely to increase threefold once the vehicle starts flying on the road after the lockdown. The establishment of virtual court would make the process of realizing fines much easier. With the advent of integrated traffic management system for which the tendering process is on, 4 such cameras capturing violations will be set up all over Delhi. The volume of challans will increase more than 10 times than as the present. However, the absence of mobile numbers with the registration records of all motor vehicles will come in the way of smooth operation of this system. At present, only 60% of the registration records of motor vehicles contain the mobile numbers of the owners. Furthermore, the details of the present owner, once the vehicle has been sold, is also required to be updated. I seek the indulgence of the Honorable Lordship that necessary direction may be required, that mobile numbers of the owners be updated before the renewal of insurance for the vehicle or similar such arrangement. Similarly, the seller be made responsible for ensuring updation of registration record to avoid being made to pay for the instant traffic violation. I thank you once again for giving me the opportunity of speaking on this webinar. I thank Honorable Justice, Dr. Justice Chandrachud for making the virtual court happen, which will be a big boost to the efficiency of traffic police of Delhi Police. Thank you very much.
Mr. Srivastava, thank you very much for letting us know what are all the expansion plans and the challenges that the traffic police face in running virtual courts. As you all know, the Delhi High Court has also had to deal with this unprecedented corona crisis. The High Court has been led by the Chief Justice, Justice Patel, and all the other senior judges of the Delhi High Court, along with the IT team, to keep the Delhi High Court functioning during this crisis. I now request Justice Patel to deliver the keynote address on this occasion.
Good evening to everybody. My Lord Justice, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud Sahab, Judge Supreme Court of India and Chairman E-Committee Supreme Court of India. Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge Supreme Court of India. Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Judge Supreme Court of India. Honorable Mr. Justice Ravindra Bhatt Sahab, Judge Supreme Court of India. My esteemed brothers and sister judges, Justice Rajiv Shagdar, Chairman of IT Committee, Delhi High Court, and his all colleagues, Justice Sanjeev Shagdar, Pratibha M. Singh, and Naveen Chawla ji, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Justice Madan B. Lokur, Justice A.P. Shah, Justice Badr Durez Ahmed, Mr. Barun Mitra, Secretary Justice, Government of India, Mr. Anup Medirata, Secretary Law, Government of India, Mr. Vijay Kumar Dev, Chief Secretary, Sri S.N. Srivastava, Commissioner of Police, Delhi, Dr. Neeta Verma, Director General, National Informatics Center, NIC, my Registrar General, Member Secretary, Sri K.C. Mittal, Maninder Acharya, Additional Solicitor General, Rahul Mehra, Standing Counsel, Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, and Mr. Abhijat. Print and electronic media members, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very much delighted to be a part and parcel of this e-inauguration of virtual court version number 2.0. The first one was also inaugurated by me, and it was on 26th of July 2019. And this version is an amended version. All of you have seen. Justice Pratibha Singh has pointed out to all of us, and Mr. Srivastav has also pointed out to us that 730,789 challans have been disposed of, cases have been disposed of at a fine of rupees 89 crores, 41 lakhs, 67,812 has already been recovered till 7th of May 2020. The figure is very huge one. The first model is a very, very successful, and now the version 2.0, I'm sure that it will be it will achieve many high targets. The version 2.0, as pointed out, it will have a camera clipping also, and if anybody has any grievance, then he can point out to the court, and immediately the court will come to a conclusion. And still, if anybody wants to go in a court, the option is open. Nothing is compulsory. See, with the help of this type of virtual court number 2.0, the better option is given to the person who has violated the traffic rules. But nothing is compulsory for such person. He may say yes and compound the offense, or he may say that I want to go to the court. But he shall keep in mind that this virtual court 2.0 has a videographic clip also. And I think that there may be a starting teaching problems, but they will be settled, and immediately the public will come to know that this court is deciding accurately the amount of the fine, and there will be a little scope for arguments. Of course, there can be one or two type of typical arguments which we will deal with as and when such type of arguments will be canvassed. But what I am about to point out is that very little will be the scope for the violator to say no because of this amended version, virtual court 2.0, camera clip, video clip will be there. With the help of these type of courts, the public will be benefited. They will not have to come to the court. Nowadays, nobody has got time to come to the court. Even though he can afford engaging the lawyer, but still everybody's desire is that immediately this type of challans and this type of cases may be brought to an end. I'm sure that virtual court 2.0 version will be very, very useful to the public, to the police, and to one and all. And still, if any problems are coming, we have our team, and Justice, we are working under the leadership of my Lord Justice, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Chairman, E-Committee, Supreme Court of India, Judge, Supreme Court of India. Our Delhi High Court team is also working with the help of NIC officers and police officers. I'm sure that there will not be many problems at all, and smoothly the work will go on. There are as many as 389 cameras which are incorporated, installed by Delhi Police, and more will be the cameras in the future, and more will be our such type of courts. So this is an experiment going on, but still this figure can go on with the court as soon as the cameras, more cameras will be installed. I'm sure that the public at large will take the advantage of this virtual court. The print and electronic media will do proper propaganda of this type of courts and the benefits. And I'm sure that this second version of the virtual court will be much more successful. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Chief Justice, for highlighting the success of the first virtual court version and also pointing out what are the expectations of the virtual court 2.0. Justice Shakdar has worked tirelessly in the last 1 week along with the IT team to put this function together and to invite Justice Chandrachud here. As you all know, leadership is about leading during a crisis, and there has been no bigger crisis for mankind for the last 100 years than the current coronavirus crisis. Justice Chandrachud, as the chairman of the E-Committee of the Supreme Court, along with the companion judges of the Supreme Court and IT committees of the various high courts, has been leading the judiciary's response to the coronavirus crisis and how we are going to make access to justice possible. It is now my absolute pleasure to invite Justice Chandrachud to give us the inaugural address this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Justice Pratibha Singh. My very distinguished colleagues, Justice Sanjay Kishan Paul, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Justice Ravindra Bhatt, the distinguished Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court, Justice Dhirubhai Patel, judges of the Delhi High Court, the chairperson of the IT committee, Justice Rajiv Shakdar, with whom I have been working so closely over several months. We have such a galaxy of distinguished people, secretaries from the Government of India, the National Capital Territory, the Commissioner of Police, Mr. S.N. Srivastava, present and former judges, Chief Justices of the Delhi High Court and of the Supreme Court. I welcome all of you and I appreciate all of you having joined us on this link this afternoon. Distinguished judges from the District Judiciary, the IT team of the Delhi High Court, some of whom are with me in the room right now, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I must give you my compliments, my sincere compliments to the entire team at the Delhi High Court, led by Justice Rajiv Shakdar under the guidance of the Chief Justice, together with all his colleagues in the IT committee for this unique endeavor. I must also take this opportunity of thanking and acknowledging the tremendous effort which has been put in by the team of the NIC, by the Delhi Police. These are cooperative ventures. No one link in the process can achieve full success without the other links being on board. Every link which is a part of a technological infrastructure has to be together to achieve the ultimate foundation. Having said this, let me say that the pandemic descended on us without any notice. But the pandemic has given us an opportunity to place the technological infrastructure of the Indian judiciary on a robust basis. The question today is not should we adopt technology, but how well do we adopt technology? And in doing so, let me at the outset begin by recognizing the contribution of those who have occupied this office which I today hold before me. Justice Lokur has been a general who has led from the front and created a robust foundation for us to build on. Justice Badr Durraiz Ahmed has been a part of the E-Committee of the Supreme Court, and I do recognize the immense contribution made both by Justice Lokur and by Justice Badr Ahmed. Soon after the pandemic descended on us, we were able to create an infrastructure for launching video conferencing in the Supreme Court, in the High Courts, and in over 17,000 courts all across the broad diversity of the nation. That, I think, is an indicator of what we have been able to achieve. Now, just to tell everyone who's on the link of how successful the Virtual Court of Delhi has been. Since Virtual Court version 2.0 was inaugurated a few minutes ago, just a few minutes ago, an amount of rupees 95,000 has been paid online, probably in the last 15 minutes. So that's just an indicator as to how seamless the process is. The virtual court is an integration of three distinct systems. First, the e-Challan software which is used in the state. Second, the payment gateway for the payment of fine. And third, the virtual court software. We have seen figures in your presentation in the film, in the video, of how many cases were disposed of and a huge amount of fine was realized, 89.54 crores, to which we now add 95,000, which has been realized in the last few minutes. But significantly, the virtual court has been able to liberate the energies of 20 judges of the Delhi District Judiciary who would have otherwise been manning the physical courts. So 20 judicial officers who had been dedicating their work for these petty offences, traffic violations, are now able to devote their time to core judicial work. The police commissioner mentioned how the traffic police can now devote their time to core traffic regulatory duties. So these are some of the benefits. They're immense benefits. It's a citizen-centric exercise. If any one of us who drives their own car crosses the zebra line and is unfortunately caught on the video camera, you don't have to spend your whole day in the court waiting for your turn to come and pay the fine. It's seamless, you can pay the fine and you're off the system and the radar. And it tremendously improves the efficiency of the system. I compliment the Delhi High Court for leading from the front. And I must share this with the participants today, that the example of Delhi is being replicated elsewhere in the country. Maharashtra is likely to go online with their virtual courts by this Friday. I know as a matter of fact that Haryana and Tamil Nadu are already online. Tamil Nadu is sorting out the last few glitches before they inaugurate the software and the virtual court formally. Besides these states, we know that Kerala, Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh are all on the anvil of adopting the virtual courts. So this just is an example of how an example can replicate itself elsewhere in the nation. A good example carries the seeds of its own persuasion. That is what the Delhi example has done. In the earlier version of the virtual court, a traffic violator had to be really, in that sense, apprehended by the police on the spot. The challan would be given to the traffic violator in person, and thereafter the virtual process was initiated. Today, as we have seen on the video, the entire process is virtual, so that the violation is capped on the CCTVs, on the CCTV cameras, and then the e-Challan is generated through the court to the violator. The Commissioner of Police has highlighted two very significant facets which we have to deal with in the future. One of the updation of the records, and he has suggested that we can insist that the insurance records, when they are renewed, the details of the subsequent changes in the holding of the vehicle are duly endorsed, including the name as well as the mobile number. And the seller of the vehicle must ensure that the mobile number of the purchaser is uploaded. I must share with you here that there are several new functionalities which have been now introduced in the existing virtual court software to cater to the requirement of CCTV generated challans. Some of them are important and I'd just like to mention them briefly. First, as the volume of NBT cases of the Delhi police, NBT is of course the notice branch of the traffic police, is high, a facility has been made to consume the data in batches. The second is that there is a facility to show the CCTV captured image of the vehicle in the virtual court. So you have evidence of the violation. Third, the vehicular details are shown to the virtual judge. And fourth, there is a facility to set a fine for a particular offense. So though it's a virtual court, there is an ability on the part of the judge to set the fine for that particular violation. Now, what I perceive for the future is that the virtual court software can be enhanced by us, commencing with Delhi, to cater to further requirements, such as summary cases under Section 206 of the CRPC, cases under Section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act. The only difference is that the payment may have to be enabled for catering to both deposits as well as fines, because in the existing system, a payment of only a fine is envisaged. So I'm sure that we'll be able to use this facility elsewhere in the country and place the virtual courts on a very robust foundation. Before I conclude, let me spend just 3 or 4 minutes to tell everyone gathered here today on what are the next initiatives which are being already implemented by the E-Committee of the Supreme Court. First, we are substantially underway in developing the interoperable criminal justice system, ICJS, under which we propose to link every element, every institution in the criminal justice administration, the courts, police stations, hospitals, forensic laboratories, prisons, so that the metadata which is generated at the very initiation of a criminal case in a police station can be captured and which can be an institution in the country. The interoperable criminal justice system will enable us to have a seamless administration of criminal justice. We commenced a pilot project in Telangana, which has been successfully completed, and that is now being expanded to other states in the country and will be shortly launched. The second is that we wanted to launch e-Seva Kendras, because we must acknowledge that not every member of the bar and not every litigant in the country is technology enabled. And our services are meant to be utilized by the citizens, by the lawyers, by every stakeholder in the system. So we have to reach out to citizens. And therefore, we have chosen the principal seat of every high court in the country and one district court where e-Seva Kendras are being launched on a pilot basis so that they will be extended across the country, where all the services which we provide can be availed of by lawyers and by litigants for the purposes of a technologically enabled judiciary. The third, most probably this Friday, a webinar is being held under the auspices of the Supreme Court of India, in which we would be unveiling the e-filing module of the Supreme Court of India. The Honorable Chief Justice of India has very graciously agreed to address the seminar, the webinar, and we would be inviting the suggestions of the bar, because I believe that the bar is a very important stakeholder. We must show the lawyers that we are making, through technology, their work simpler, and that we want to handhold those who are not technologically enabled. So we will be inviting suggestions of the bar, the Supreme Court Bar Association, the Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, the experts in the field, so that we can improve the module. The next thing which I want to mention is that after we commenced video conferencing soon after the pandemic led to the lockdown on the 23rd of March, I thought that it was necessary for us to frame rules on video conferencing across the country. Some high courts had done that, and I constituted a committee which consisting of Justice Rajiv Shatdar, Justice Satish Sharma, Justice Nitin Zamdar, Justice Sivagnanam, and Justice Arvind Kumar, judges of their respective high courts and chairpersons of the IT committees, to frame and draft model rules. Through these model rules, once they were drafted for suggestions from all the high courts, we received some excellent suggestions from the high courts, and these model rules have now been circulated to all the high courts with a request that these should be adopted as rules by the high courts for themselves, as well as for the district courts, to serve as a countrywide uniform model on video conferencing. And I would like to share with you at this point that one of the key ingredients of the video conferencing rules is access to the video conferencing court, to the media, access to the public, subject, of course, to the availability and the nature of the bandwidth. In a court of law, you can't have 5,000 people come into a single courtroom. So similarly, we want to ensure that people have access to video conferencing, because the right to know of the public, the right to know of the media is crucial to the functioning of a democratic court system. The next thing which I would like to share with you is that version 2.0 of the e-filing software for the high courts and the district judiciary is presently undergoing security audits and would be available shortly for the high courts to take over and to adopt. One of our projects today in the e-committee is the interlinking of court libraries across the country, so as to have one knowledge platform for our judicial officers across the country. We have sought to enhance the video conferencing capabilities of jails as well as district hospitals. We have commenced video conferencing, but as we all know, the central jails are, as it is, very overcrowded, and it's very necessary, therefore, to upgrade the extent of video conferencing facilities that are available, both in the central jails and in the district jails. This is something which is being done across India. And finally, let me share with you a very important initiative of the E-Committee, which is to have open APIs. Now, the purpose of having open APIs is to ensure that the data which we have as part of the National Judicial Data Grid can be tapped by every litigation management user. The moment we created open APIs, Mr. Varun Mitra, who is the Secretary in the Department of Justice, had sought access to our data because they get parliamentary questions. And I said, why should we give only them access to some limited data? Let the Department of Justice have access to the complete data which is available under the JDG. And that really threw a seed of an idea in our minds that we must provide this data to other users. We have been swarmed by other users, including the Reserve Bank of India, several state governments, who want to manage their litigation using the data which we have as part of the NJDG. So this data can be really used for an efficient management of litigation by diverse agencies of the state being the largest litigant in the country, insurance companies, banks, electricity companies. And we also want to open it up to private litigant management users. We also want to open up our data to research bodies. Let there be research on the work which courts are doing. Let artificial intelligence be used. Let the best technology be used for enhancing the quality of services which we provide in terms of our technology infrastructure. Finally, all this depends on the cooperation of the bar as well as the bench and civil society. So in doing all that we are proposing to do in all these initiatives, I want to assure the bar that their concerns, their needs, their requirements, the requirements of litigants across India, everybody is not as tech savvy as you would have, say, in the Delhi High Court. We need to take every element of our society on board so that technology really becomes a true means of enhancing access to justice. And finally, before I conclude, I would be failing in my duty if I don't recognize the contribution which is being made on a daily basis by my colleague on the E-Committee, Justice R.C. Chawhan, who has brought with him 40 years of experience as a member of the district judiciary, initially in Maharashtra, and thereafter as a judge of the Bombay High Court. Justice Chawhan and I begin our respective days with a call and an email in the early hours of every morning over a cup of tea, and shares a lot of these initiatives which we are pursuing as part of the E-Committee. I thank you very much, Chief Justice Patel, Justice Shankar, Justice Sajdeva, Justice Pratibha Singh, and all the members of the E-Committee of the Delhi High Court. I compliment your team as well as the NIC for this unique effort, which I'm sure will spread the message across the country and would be replicated elsewhere. I took a little longer than the time allotted to me, but I thought we'd use this opportunity to spread the message of e-governance in the judiciary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justice Chandrachud. As a good teacher, to the Delhi High Court today to move to negotiable instruments, ERPC-related cases. So added the digital ecosystem plus the humane touch. May I now request Justice Sanjeev Sachdeva, the activity, to give the vote of thanks. Justice Sachdeva, please.
Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge Supreme Court of India. Honorable Dr. Justice, Honorable Mr. Justice D.N. Patel, Chief Justice, High Court of Delhi. Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India. Former Chief Justices, former judges of this court, my brother and sister judges of the Delhi High Court, other dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion of the e-inauguration of the virtual courts for traffic challans captured by a camera. I, on behalf of the Delhi High Court, its judges and the IT committee and its entire team, and on my behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge Supreme Court of India, Chairman of the E-Committee of Supreme Court of India, who, despite his very busy schedule, has found time to inaugurate the virtual court. He has been the guiding light to us in the Delhi High Court. During the pandemic, India, under your leadership, sir, has been providing justice through use of technology to the litigants of a level which even the most technically advanced countries in the world have not been able to. Sir, we assure you that we would continue to endeavor to meet your expectations and continue to provide justice with a new face. So when you began your speech, you mentioned that about 75 challans have been settled. The IT team just informs me that the amount has increased now to 97,000 and 97 challans have been disposed of. I would like to also thank Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Honorable Mr. Justice S.R. Bhatt, Judges of the Supreme Court India, for sparing their valuable time to grace this occasion with their virtual presence. I would also like to thank Mr. Justice R.C. Chauhan, Vice Chairman in Committee, Supreme Court of India, for gracing the occasion. Special thanks are due to our Chief Justice, Justice D.N. Patel, Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, for always supporting the IT team in all its ventures. Justice Patel became the first Chief Justice of Delhi High Court to preside over a paperless court, and in fact, he started doing it from the very first day he joined this court. I would also like to thank Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Judge Punjab and Haryana High Court, former judge of this court and former chairman of the Delhi High Court IT Committee. I also thank the chairpersons and members of the IT committees of various high courts who have joined us on this occasion. I also express a gratitude to Honorable Mr. Justice Madan B. Lokur, former Judge, Supreme Court of India and former Chairman of the E-Committee, Supreme Court of India. I extend my thanks to Honorable Mr. Justice A.P. Shah, former Chief Justice of High Court of Delhi. I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to Honorable Mr. Justice Badr Duraiz Ahmed, former Chief Justice High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and former Acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, who has been instrumental in making the digital infrastructure of the Delhi High Court as one of the best in the country. I would take this opportunity to also thank Mr. Varun Mitra, Secretary Justice, Government of India, Mr. Anup Mendiratta, Secretary Law, Government of India, Mr. Anshu Prakash, Chairman, Digital Communications Commission and Secretary Telecom, Mr. Vijay Kumar Dev, Chief Secretary, Government of NCT of Delhi, Mr. Sanjay Agarwal, Principal Secretary, Law, Government of NCT of Delhi. Special thanks are in order for Mr. S.N. Srivastava, Commissioner, Delhi Police and his team for making this virtual court possible. Further, we are grateful to Dr. Neeta Verma, Director General, National Informatics Center, and her team, without whose infrastructural support, all this would not have been possible. I would like to also thank my brother and sister judges of the Delhi High Court. I would be failing in my duty if I do not express my special gratitude to Mr. Justice Rajiv Shakta, Chairman of the IT Committee, who always leads from the front, and also to my sister Judge Justice Pratibha M. Singh and my brother Judge Justice Naveen Chawla, my co-members of the IT Committee. I would also like to thank Mr. K.C. Mittal, Chairman Bar Council of India, Ms. Maninder Acharya, Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Rahul Mehra, Mr. Ramesh Singh, Standing Councils, Government of NCT of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Mr. Abhijat, Vice President and Secretary of the High Court Bar Association, senior advocates and other advocates for joining us virtually. I would like to place on record special mention about the contribution of the team of officers led by Mr. Manoj Jain, Registrar General, Mr. Sunil Kukreja, Registrar IT, Mr. V.K. Bansal, Chairman, Centralized Computer Committee, District Courts, Mr. Siddharth Mathur, CPC, Mr. Rajiv Kumar Chauhan, Joint Registrar IT, Mr. Abhilash Mathur, Nodal Officer Computers, District Courts, Mr. Sarsij Kumar, Joint Director IT, Mr. Zameem Khan, Mr. Salman Temuri, Senior System Analyst, Mr. Chetan Chaudhary, Senior Engineer, for their involvement, tireless effort, and their willingness to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zone. Once again, I want to state that we are all grateful to Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud for sparing his time and inaugurating the virtual court too. We thank you all for being with us this evening. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Justice Shakdar, would you like to add anything, or we bring the proceedings to a close?
At the end of the day, it went well. Justice Chandrachud, my team has already expressed its heartfelt gratitude for the picture or the canvas that you painted, and rightly you brought in other aspects of the matter and the initiatives that the E-Committee is taking. Thank you to all, one and all, our judges in the High Court, our seniors, Justice A.P. Shah, who was our Chief Justice, and in whose time some of these initiatives regarding e-courts had started. Thank you, Chief Justice Patel, just Brother Naveen Chawla, Pratibha, Sanjeev, the IT team. Thank you all. God bless.